Prominent Trump supporter Scottie Nell Hughes, who you've probably seen in the mainstream media a number of times during the election, made news today by stating that facts don't exist. And she seems to be perfectly happy with that. And so we're going to talk about it. I'm going to preface the rest of my comments by saying I was very much looking forward to consigning Scottie Nell Hughes to the waste bin of history when Trump finally went away after he would have lost the election. I was waiting for all of his brainless supporters in the media, his surrogates, to go away and stop being on TV. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad effects of this election. One of them is that Scottie Nell Hughes is still on TV. And so she was on Diane Rem's show, and she said this. There's no such thing, unfortunately, anymore of facts. That's crazy. I feel like this should be an Onion article, but this is true. And she continues by saying, and so Mr. Trump's tweet amongst a certain crowd, a large part of the population, are truth. And notice that she doesn't say there, they mistakenly believe that they're true. She is saying they become true. That the truth is in the eye of the beholder, or the brain or perception of the beholder. This stuff has become true despite the fact that it has no bearing on reality. It has no attachment to the real physical material world. She also says, when he says that millions of people illegally voted, he has some amongst him and his supporters, and people believe they have facts to back that up. And she doesn't seem to be concerned with whether or not they do actually have facts to back that up. I mean, this is a huge charge, incredibly consequential, especially and sadly coming from a man who won the election, that he would claim that the election results could not be trusted, that literally millions of people had voted illegally. And since he has no evidence of that, he certainly has no evidence of who they voted for. And so theoretically, from his argument, following his logic, he might not have literally won the election. And she seems to be incredibly unconcerned about that. She also says, those that do not like Mr. Trump, they say that those are lies and there's no facts to back it up. So, and she says that, but it doesn't seem to concern her. Whether what she believes and what his followers believe is factually true or not seems entirely disconnected from any of her concerns about what's going on in the world. And we're talking about what is going to determine the future of our country and the world. There perhaps is nothing more important than what actually happened on Election Day, both in terms of our ability to analyze it so that we can fix the mistakes that were made in this election, but also just literally to know if the election was stolen or not. And she doesn't seem to care. Now, I'm going to be talking and have been talking a lot on this channel about values. And since I am a progressive, I'm interested in the values that drive a progressive and that lead from us being a person to all of a sudden, why do we support one economic policy or one foreign policy or something like that? Truth is one of the core values of a progressive, a desire for things, to discover what the truth is. So it's tied in with curiosity, obviously, a desire to find out. That's why we tend to like science and respect science more, because that is the prime mechanism that humans have come up with to determine whether a thing is true or not. And to make sure that we base our decisions on things that are true. Now, a lot of people watching this, especially if they consider themselves to be non-progressives, perhaps moderates or maybe even conservatives, will say, well, no, isn't that just true of everybody? But we know that it's not. We know that in this case, it's not true of Scottie Nell Hughes, but you will see if you watch the news even casually that it's not true of most Americans, unfortunately. And conservatives have core values of their own, and they are in direct opposition to progressive values. We have a concern with, almost a reverence for truth, making sure that what we believe is accurate and what we do is based on things that are accurate. They don't have truth. They have faith. Truth is a desire to have things literally be true and accurate and reliable. Faith is a desire to believe a thing, whether it is true or not. They never get past the faith to the truth. If the thing that you have faith in makes you feel good, then you believe in it. It doesn't matter if it has any attachment to the real world. And she is on Fox News there, and she is saying that that is how it should be. Not simply that that is what is going on and, you know, these people are busy and they don't have time to follow the news that much. And so you can sort of empathize with them that they simply believe things on faith as opposed to really caring or investigating or doing the research. She is perfectly fine with that. Fox News is perfectly fine with that. And how can the country, how can the world ever improve if we don't care whether the things we say are true, whether there's evidence for them? Whether we have an ability to understand and notice if something that we believed or advocated for turned out not to be the case, and an acceptance of the fact that we need to learn. She doesn't have any of that. Her side doesn't have any of that. And that's something that we're going to have to come to grips with, because it has consequences that are going to ripple through the entirety of the rest of our political discourse.